What's up, YouTubers, Facebookers, and nose pickers? I gotta work on that intro, it's not very good. Just want to give you guys a quick update of my in the bag. Um, Obviously, the seasons are going to be cut a little short this year with the COVID-19, so everybody be safe out there, wash your hands. Things get back to normal and get the tournament going hopefully in May. This is what my bag setup typically looks like on any given day. Let's start with the putters. I putt with a firm Envy. I like the glide of them. I like the predictability of the fade at the end. I don't really go back and forth with like a lighter putter for outside circles or anything like that. I get used to one putter and I just manipulate the angles to get more distance. Then I have a anode. Maybe I need to move a little closer so you can see. There's the Envy. Here's the anode that I have. Pretty girl. This is a 166 gram anode, and that's really light for an approach disc. So I don't use it a whole lot in headwinds, but it's the closest that I've gotten to a catch disc. Just a lot of wrist snap and just dead straight. I can manipulate it to the right, low ceiling. I don't typically throw it very far. It's just a really short approach disc. So that's my anode. Now for my longer approach disc, I use the Glow Pilot. I really like the predictability of this one. It's got more bite, I feel, than the Neutron Pilot, and it's been really impressing me the last, however many months, couple months that I've had it in the bag. So that is my do-it-all approach disc for backhand. For forehand, I go with an Entropy, Neutron Entropy. I really like this thing. It's got some beef to it for sure. So I can get this thing on a little Annie when I throw, and it flattens out just a little bit at the end. So a lot of my flick approach shots with this. Obviously you could still throw hyzer spikes and everything with that, but that is just a great disc. Headwind putting, I put in a Circuit Series Entropy, only for a lot of headwind putting. If it's just screaming at me, I'll throw this one for putting. Something I'm just kind of working into for that, but typically I just, like I said, I manipulate the angles on this, and I'll just put a little bit of hyzer on it and go from there. Let me adjust this real quick so you can see my ugly mug. So yeah, I'll just manipulate the angle on that for a little bit lower and hyzer when I have a lot of headwind. But when it's just unbearable, a lot of headwind, I'll go with the Entropy. This is my Neutron Proxy. I use this mainly for fan grip approaches, and this one is straighter than my Glow Pilot. Pilot has a little bit of bite at the end. This one I can get to go straight, even turn if I really want to. So it's kind of a 1-2. I have a lot of putters right now, so I don't know if that's going to stay that way throughout the season, but I've been really digging it. Now next we have mid-ranges. I only carry 2 mid-ranges at the moment. Well, I should say it could possibly be 3. I really like the Reactor. I just need to work with it a little more to get comfortable with bagging it. But right now, I only bag the Matrix Neutron plastic. This one's really good. Gives you a nice S shot, or you can power it down, get some nice fade on it. But the Neutron Matrix, everyone really knows about those by now. There's no secret. They're just a great disc. And a Pyro. This is a new one that I put in the bag, the Prism rim plasma core. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be using this one or if I'm going to be using Neutron. I got to kind of work with those. Now that it's warmer out and it's getting warmer, I might go back to the Neutron just because it's a little firmer for my forehand. But I do love the gumminess of the plasma when you really want to dig into one. These are great discs, not terribly overstable, not like a deflector. It's between a deflector and Matrix, but fantastic disc. Then onto the fairways. Go with a couple slower ones. There's my utility fairway. This is a Signal, Neutron Signal. All of these are in the 170s besides that anode that I mentioned. But this is pretty much my understable trick disc, or my utility disc. I can throw these from standstill with a ton of angle and just snap it, and it flips up, turns. I can get a good roll with these things. Yeah, just big sky. I'll release it on a hyzer, on a big sky hyzer, but it'll end up flipping up and go right for a long way. So Signals are really great. Then I have a Relay. This is more of a control disc for me. Similar to the Signal, I'll get a lot of turn on it, but nothing where it'll be an instant roll or anything like that. I still won't throw it in a headwind. I'll just disc up to a different fairway that I have. But a Relay is fantastic disc. Just in the woods, it just feels really, really comfortable in your hand. It only has 6-speed. So yeah, that one's great. Hyzer flip. You can power it up, hyzer flip, and get a little turn. It doesn't start to bend more like the Signal does, but it will turn if you power it up. Then this is my workhorse, and I think everyone should have a resistor in their bag. This is a Neutron, but it's kind of a plasma blend. And what's great about these, I found that it is a 150 class, and it's still super overstable. This is my forehand. I actually use this for approaches sometimes too, but forehand, backhand, if I need a skip, if I need a little thumber, a scuba, whatever you want to call them, this thing does a lot of stuff in the woods for me. I'm very comfortable using it, and I'll never not have a resistor in my bag. Then I have a couple drifts. I have a Cosmic Drift. This thing is similar to the Relay, but a little faster. It's a 7-speed. You'll get just the same amount of controllable turn on it, but it's definitely a workhorse as far as just a control driver that goes really, really, really far. Then I bag a Proton one, similar to this, but a little more bite at the end. I love the milky white Proton. Thanks Fred Cross for that, hooked me up with that. I lost my other one last year, so I put this one back in the bag now that the snow is gone. So they kind of complement each other pretty well. And recently I just put in 3 Fission Volts. Why 3? Well, this is a 150. It gives me a nice long turn before it starts to fade out. This is a 160, I want to say 160, 162. Similar to the other one, but it doesn't turn as much. I get a nice straight shot with it. It turns a little bit, but they always fight out. Even this one, it'll turn, but it's still late in the flight, it'll fight out. So it just more turn, less turn. And then this one is 174 gram Fission. And I also forgot to say that I love the new blend of Fission. They're really gummy in the hand. You get a great tacky feel to them. They're not, when they get wet or anything else, they still are just, they feel almost like plasma, how you can dig your fingers into them. And I'm super confident in throwing these. And I just put these in the bag well, I've been bagging this one for a while now. But since I put these in maybe a month now, and I've saw some pretty good scores just by relying on these a lot in the woods. So Fission Volt, fantastic disc, fantastic. Then I have a Streamline Lift. This one it's so good, man. I can't stress this enough. It's kind of like the Volt in the Flight, but more straighter. I can get this one on a forehand that feels a little bit better than the Volt. It's a little bit faster than the Volt, but it'll still do the same thing. It'll give me a little bit of turn, a little bit of fade, but not much, just pretty much dead straight. Forehand, I don't have the best forehand, so a lot of my forehands I'll throw something like this and it'll pop up just nice and straight. Maybe a gentle turn, but it's just going straight the whole way. Backhand, forehand, fantastic disc. I believe it's they're all the 170s that I have from here on out, I think. That might be a one on 150, I'll look. But yeah, that's a great disc. The Lift. Then I have a Jeff Ash Vanish. This one is just beautiful. I don't want to throw this one over water, but I can always interchange it if I'm playing a course of water. But I've been digging the Vanish a lot for long, super long hyzer flips that flip over and tip to the right and just coast to the right. Or if I'm feeling not the most energetic by the end of the round, I can pull this out rather than a distance driver, and I can get some good flight on it, and I know what it's going to do. The Vanish, that's a really good driver. Then I have similar to the Resistor, I bag my Defies in the 150 class. I have a 154 Neutron Defy. I was bagging a Proton Punk Defy with a plasma rim, but those went out of production, the Proton, so I've been trying to learn this one a little bit. It's very similar though. Still pretty overstable for being only 150 in the 150 class, but I use this for a lot of hyzer spikes, a lot of low shots that I know that are going to finish to the left, get a good skip. But yeah, Defy, Neutron. This one is probably my oldest disc in the bag. It's 164 gram Albert Einstein Misprint Motion. Super, super overstable, even with that weight and how many grams it might even be way lower than 164 now because of how many dings and stuff I've had on this thing. I use this for thumbers, low line thumbers, up high, whatever. I do a lot of wooded thumbers, not just out in the open. But yeah, that's been my thumber disc for a long time now, and I can interchange this one too with other motions, but this has been my bread and butter motion. I don't throw them super far, maybe 300. I can throw them a little further than that, but I don't want to rip my arm out. I used to play baseball, and I understand the arm slot and how to throw these without hurting myself. I'm not reaching back like a goon. I'm just, peppering them. But yeah, I can get this thing to dance really, really good on a thumber. And then I have, well, that one I just put in the bag. I don't know what's going to make it. You probably can't even see it on the screen because it's kind of dark. It's like a maroon, purplish, pinkish color. But I wanted to try one with the flight numbers on there to see how it was flying. But that's a Catalyst. But yeah, so I've been bagging the Catalyst. One with my Out of Bounds stamp with Mike Ensko doing the artwork. Fantastic job. These are really, really solid. This is a 13-speed disc. I don't know if you had followed me in the past, but I had been bagging relativities. I've kind of went away from that just because those two round tournaments or so, second round, if I need a lot of distance, maybe I'm a little tight or just losing some energy. I wasn't getting it, and the misfiring I was getting with the relativity, for my arm speed, I went back. I went down to 13 speed rather than the 14.5 that the relativity is. But the Catalyst is really good for those understable shots. It'll get quite a bit of turn, a little bit of fade, similar to the relativity was doing for me, but just more consistent. I might have lost maybe 20, 30 feet on my distance by going to these, but man, way more accurate for me because I can get them up to speed more often, just a higher percentage shot for me than a relativity was. But relativity would go far. I'm not downplaying that, like if you got the arm relativity bombs. But yeah, I've been bagging a Catalyst. And then for my counterpart to the Catalyst, I've been bagging the Octane. This one's super beat in. I'll use this a lot to hold a turn, but I know it's always fading out the end. More overstable is the Plasma. It's like kind of a protonish plasma mix, but this one's pop top. This one's pretty flat. I can get this one to hold a little longer than this, but that's my counterpart with the Catalyst is the Octane. I can get that thing out pretty far. I'm not gonna say what the distance is because you're not gonna believe me anyways, internet distance, but I can get it out pretty far. But yeah, so I've been doing Catalyst, Octane for my distance shots, and then I've been using this quite often. It's the Macro Mini. I've been using this for, I don't know how long they've been out now, a couple years maybe. So I've had that in the bag the entire time. And then I have my new bag that I just got. I also have a cart that I have a bag in, but I really like this. The new MVP bags are fantastic. They're super lightweight compared to how they were before. The feet have been moved in. got a lot of pocket space. You got two giant zippers on the side now rather than one small and one small. It's just two big ones. I could fit a whole rain fly in there, sweater. I got the force field. The force fields are really good too. Taking me a minute to set up, but I could put that on, and it's super awesome because it's got these magnets in it that latch. Really high power magnets. So yep, that's my bag, and hopefully, you know, you guys can see me perform this year. I hope everyone can get out there and throw soon. But in the meantime, you know, stay safe.